Hello Year 6 and welcome to today's Arithmetic and tomorrow's and yesterday's if you're looking this at the next day. Monday, Tuesday, what you're going to be doing is solving some multiplication and division problems, and we're going to be using the multiplication triangle to do that. So they're all going to be multiples of 10, 100 and 1000. So on Monday, you might be watching this now on Monday, we're focusing on multiplication. And then on Tuesday, we are focusing on division, but there's only going to be one video, okay? So I kind of go through everything in this one video. So watch the video, it's going to be like 9 minutes long or something. And then have a go at doing the questions, okay? So there's like different sets that I want you to have a go at underneath. It all explains it all in the information page where the questions are. But give it a good go, and easiest way for me to show you what to do, remind you what you do, we've done it in school, is to get into our screen. Let's go.
Hello. So, as I said, we're going to look at solving problems involving 10, 100 and 1000. So let's say that we were given a question that looked like this: 500 times by 6. Now, some people might think, oh, I need to use like a column method. So they end up doing this and they go 500 times by 6. And then they go, well, 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is no. Let's try again. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30, and they get an answer of 3000, which is correct. It is correct. However, the thing that I like to do when we've got a multiple of 10 or 100 or 1000, and I look at this question and it's got something that I can see quite easily in it. So I can see 5 times 6, but obviously that's 100 times bigger. So multiplication triangle, and I write 5 times 6, and I know that that is 30, okay? So this number times this number equals this number. Now in this question though, that's not a 5, it's a 500. So I need to make this 100 times bigger. Okay, I've times that by 100. Now if I times that by 100, I must times this top number by 100. So that moving along twice would get us to 3000. So my answer is 3000. Let's say we've got something like 40 times by 60. Now I can see an easier question in that. I can see 4 times 6. So I set up my multiplication triangle and I do 4 times 6. And that's 24. Again, this times this equals this. But it's not a 4, it's a 14. So I times that by 10. And because I times this by 10, I must times this by 10. Okay? And then that's not a 6, it's a 60. So because I times this by 10, I must again times my answer by 10. So my answer is 2400. Let's just do another one similar-ish to this. So let's say I've got something like 30 times by 40, 30 times by 40, yeah. So the easy question that I can see there is 3 times 4, which is 12. Then it's not a 3, it's a 30. So I need to times this by 10. And because I times this one by 10, I need to times this one by 10. And then that's not a 4, it's a 40 in the question. So I need to times that by 10. And because I've times that by 10, I also need to move this times this by 10, move it along one column. So I get to 1200. Now that is kind of like ready and steady. That's as far as we get on the Monday's lesson. You might get stuff like this. So you might get something like 0.6. This is more like a go type question. Times by 40. Now again, if I tried to put that into a column method, it would be an absolute nightmare. It would be horrible. So what I can do, sorry, my boiler's gone off. I can do 6 times 4 because I can see that in there, which I know is 24. Now in this one, I'll do this one first. It's not a 4, it's 10 times bigger, it's going to be a 40. So I times that by 10, and because I've times that by 10, I must also times this by 10. And on this one, it's not a 6, it's a 0.6. So I've divided this by 10. So if I divide this by 10, I've moved everything down a column. I also must divide this by 10 to move everything down a column. So that's actually going to get me to 24. Okay. And then we can, that's another go one. Finally, a go one. If we've got something like 30 times by something equals 2400. In this one, what I'm saying is actually I can see that I can do 3 times something equals 24, because I know that 3 goes into 24. And 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, it goes in 8 times. And then all I need to do now is make these numbers the same as those numbers. Well, 30, that needs to be 10 times bigger. And I'm saying because I've made one of these bottom one 10 times bigger, I make this 10 times bigger. And then finally this 2,400, so this needs to be another 10 times bigger, which means I need to make one of these 10 times bigger. Now I'm not gonna make that one bigger because it's already right, it's a 30. So I'm gonna make this one bigger. So that gets me to 80. And that is how we use it to solve multiplication problems. If I had a problem like, let's say, 323 times by 30, this method's not gonna help me because there's no easy question there. It's not like there's a 6 times 8 question there. There's no easy one. That's multiplication. I'm now going to talk about division, which you'll be doing tomorrow. So if you're on Monday, pause here, crack on with today's questions. Or watch the whole video now, and then tomorrow you won't really need to watch anything. So let's say I've got something like 440. No, let's do it. 480 divided by 8 equals something. So I know that 8 goes into 48. So what I'm actually going to do is 48 divided by 8 equals something, because these two multiplied together will then get, or this one divided by this gives that, or this one divided by this gives that. So 48 divided by 8 I know is 6. Now in this case, it's not a 48, it's a 480, so I'm going to make this 10 times bigger. And if I make one of these 10 times bigger, I must make one of these 10 times bigger. Now I'm not going to make the 8 bigger because that's already an 8 in there. So I'm going to make this 10 times bigger. So my answer is 60. Let's do another one. Let's say we've got something like 250 divided by 50 equals something. Well, I can see the easy question there is, so that's a bad triangle, but 25 divided by 5. And I know that equals 5. Now this needs to be 10 times bigger because it is there. And then I need to make one of these 10 times bigger. So I'm going to make this one 10 times bigger to make it the 50. That's the same as that. That's the same as that. So my answer is 5. It works for things like if we had something like 6.4 divided by 8. Well, I look at that and I go, well, actually, I know that 8 goes into 64. So if I do 64 divided by 8, I know that 8 times 8 gets me to 64. This needs to be 10 times smaller though. So I need to make one of these 10 times smaller. Well, that 8 I want to stay as that. So I'll make this one 10 times smaller. So my answer is 0.8. Okay. And I'm going to stop there because I think I've shown you enough. So try and solve the questions as quickly as you can today. So this video is for Monday and for Tuesday. And yeah, work hard, and it's just quick practice, but I want to see your multiplication triangles, okay? Multiplication triangles, I only started using about 2 or 3 years ago, and they're so much easier once you get your head around them. Okay, year 6, work hard, give it a good go, see you in a bit.